Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Ben Shepard. I'm the Director of Public Relations for Henrico County. Please join me in welcoming our County Manager, John Vithoulkas.
Thank you, Ben. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining us. So this morning, we are here to talk about a really important issue that is facing Henrico County, and in fact, communities across the county. So housing affordability is an issue that our county and our Board of Supervisors have been laser focused on, even before the pandemic and higher interest rates have brought it to the forefront nationally. Before we continue, I'd like to acknowledge and thank members of the Board of Supervisors that are here with us today and some other partners throughout the community. We have our Chairman, Tyrone Nelson, representing the Varina District. Y'all can clap. Vice Chairman Dan Schmidt from Brooklyn. Supervisor Misty Whitehead from Three Chopped. Supervisor Jody Rogish from Tuckahoe. And with today's technology, Supervisor Roscoe Cooper, who is out of state, is actually watching us as we speak. So, Mr. Cooper, thank you. And I also want to acknowledge a number of folks who really have been thought partners in what we're going to talk about today, and some others. So I begin with Eric Lebo on our staff, our Director of Community Revitalization. Where's Eric? So Eric. Laura Lafayette, CEO of the Richmond Association of Realtors. Laura, thank you. We have Tim Parrott, Chairman of the Henrico Housing Advisory Committee and President of Mungo Homes. Tim, where are you? There you are. Erica Sims, CEO of the Maggie Walker Land Trust. There you are. And I also want to thank Town Bank President Pat Collins and Tracy Jameson for being here as well. They also are partners in thought, and I know we have some members of the home building community that are also with us. But also, I want to recognize Jovan Burton, who is the Executive Director of the nonprofit Partnership for Housing Affordability. We recognize that housing affordability requires a whole community response, and we need everyone, the government and the private nonprofit sectors working together as partners to create a substantial, lasting impact. In Henrico, you've heard us. We talk about how our county is a great place to live, work, play, and visit. You know, these traits have been, and are keys to our success. The cost of living here, which is reflected in our philosophy of low taxes and lean government, is integral to the high quality of life that has attracted so many families, so many job seekers, so many companies and others for decades. But if you've been following this issue, you know that the real estate market, both locally and across the country, has been under tremendous pressure over the past 4 years. We talked about this in work session just 2 weeks ago with the Board of Supervisors. And you'll see some of these boards reflect some of these facts. Demand for homes has outstripped supply, and that, coupled with elevated interest rates, has driven up the cost of housing nationwide. Henrico is no exception, and our great quality of life means that we're confronted with both high demand for housing and high home prices. Make no mistake, we're facing a crisis for our community. Over the past 4 years, the income needed to afford a home in Virginia has increased by 76%. In 2023, the median price of a home in our county was $355,000. Currently, fewer than 1 in 3 households in our county could afford a home at that price. If you're in the market and you're a buyer, you better act fast because homes are usually under contract within a month as there is a historic lack of supply. The American dream of home ownership is falling out of reach for many. This is unacceptable, unsustainable, and quite frankly, a threat to our quality of life, our local economy, our kids, seniors, all of our residents. Our Board of Supervisors have been working hard to address this issue. As a county, you will hear Mr. Nelson note that we've devoted resources toward addressing both housing affordability and housing quality. And yet, what we're announcing today takes these efforts to another level. And I must emphasize, this is about ownership. It ups the ante in a fiscally responsible way that will make a difference for many of our residents. Individuals entering the workforce, seniors living on fixed incomes, and families starting to set their roots in the community. The county will be dedicating revenue from new economic development that is not built into our budget. This is not debt, this is cash, this is a market-based approach. Now, before I turn the podium over to Mr. Nelson, I want to thank all the members of the staff that, the Board of Supervisors put up a pretty significant problem and a challenge for us to work on. And yet, again, you have come through. We've spent hours working on this, and ultimately, I cannot tell you how proud I am to be part of this team. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our Chairman of the Board, Tyrone Nelson.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us, and I stand here representing the board as the chair of my colleagues. We are a team that works together, so I'm appreciative of all of them being here today. Reverend Cooper, who is not here with us, had already arranged to be out of town on this day before we scheduled this press conference, but he is watching us live, and so we feel his presence. But to Dan, Misty, Jody, thank you all. And we're going to do great work together, as I feel like we already have. I feel like we've been working together forever, and this is just the 5th month. As the manager has mentioned, we've been watching this issue of housing affordability very close. And again, as he stated, our focus on this issue has gone back decades. But it's taken on increasing urgency in the most recent years. We actually had to go back and look and see some of the things that we have been doing to remind ourselves that we have already been very engaged in this area. We provided real estate tax relief in the form of our REAP and recap programs and a tax credit for all homeowners. What we have researched is these are the most accommodating programs in the RVA region. We've co-hosted an employer housing forum to encourage employers in the region to help their workers enter into the home ownership market. As one of the region's larger employers, we practice what we preached, launching our own employee home purchase assistance program in the last year. On the rental side, we've executed agreements with 17% of the owners of large apartment communities to preserve affordability while also seeking to improve the living conditions of residents. We've invested $19 million over the past 5 years to address the variety of housing needs in the community. This includes helping persons with down payment assistance, preventing foreclosures, making repairs, working with the city of Richmond, and hopefully some of our regional county colleagues to provide emergency assistance for homeless persons in our region. We partner with nonprofits, and some of those agency leaders are here today, like Richmond Habitat for Humanity, Project Homes, Maggie Walker Community Land Trust, to provide more opportunities for affordable home ownership. And in a first for our community, recently, we worked with developers to include a certain number of affordable units as part of a rezoning case that had never been done before in the county. These homes will be blended into a housing community in the Varina district, community named Arcadia. And they'll be affordable in perpetuity because the lots that they are built on will be held by the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust. The homeowners will own only the dwelling, which means that their monthly mortgage payments will be reduced significantly. This is an exciting strategy for two reasons. First of all, it makes high quality housing more affordable. Second, it allows the homeowner to share in building equity, which is essential to creating generational wealth. Our efforts have also included affordable homes in the River East community subdivision. That's a 21-home mixed income community, and Cool Lane Commons, an 86-unit apartment community that was completed in partnership with Virginia Supportive Housing in the city of Richmond. These are just a few examples of what we have been doing and are doing to address this issue. That brings us to today. Now, even in this morning's news, if you all are following Bear Sense, if you're not, you should. There's another major project that includes transforming and revitalizing a community in Henrico County that has been a thorn in the flesh of residents in that particular community. Glenwood Farms will be an 800-unit mixed income development that I think will be transformational. I'm proud to announce today, this is why you're here, that Henrico County will establish its first affordable housing trust fund in an amount that will initially total $60 million. As the county manager mentioned, this is cash, dedicated revenue from new economic development, which was not built into our operating budget. I gotta reiterate, this is not debt, this is cash. I don't know if the mic is on. Let me say that again. We've established our first affordable housing trust fund in an amount that will initially total $60 million, not debt, but cash. Now, this trust will expand and sustain our efforts to provide opportunities for affordable home ownership for working individuals and families. And we're talking about the workers who are essential to making Henrico and continuing Henrico to be such a great and vibrant community to be a part of. Is those who are working in child care centers and grocery stores, those who are working in restaurants and hospitals, offices and industrial parks, those who are teaching our kids in classrooms and working on our police forces or in sheriff's offices, those who are working in hotels. These are the people that make up an incredible community. Again, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund will be established at $60 million, not debt, but cash, and it will be available July 1st. This funding will come from revenues generated by one of our major growth industries, data centers. Hear me when I say this, we're doing something different. This board asked our county manager and his staff to come up with something that is transformational, and we are delivering something transformational. We may be the only locality in the Commonwealth, maybe in the country, dedicating a single revenue source to address a crisis like this in our community. We took a similar step a little over a decade ago with meals tax money, and now look at the results for many of our schools. The trust will help buy lots and communities throughout Henrico for the purpose of creating homes that will be affordable today, tomorrow, and forever. And we understand there are some who want us to get involved in multifamily and rentership, and we will. We'll enter into that at some point. But today, we start with ownership. To keep homeowners' costs down, I want you to hear this. We will waive water and sewer connection fees. We will waive building permit fees. Any development that includes these affordable lots will go through an expedited review process. At the end of the day, we believe these actions could reduce the cost of buying a home in our county by as much as 30%. We will waive water and sewer fees. We'll waive building permit fees. Any development that includes these affordable lots will go through an expedited review process. This is another example of Henrico County's leadership on tough issues. It shows that we are committed to working with partners in the private and nonprofit sectors to fulfill our vision for One Henrico, a place that welcomes, values, and supports everyone. Now, at this time, we'd like to pass the program over to one of our partners, a key partner, Jovan Burton, who is the Executive Director of the Partnership for Housing Affordability. Jovan.
Morning. First off, I'd like to thank Chairman Nelson and County Manager Vithoulkas for their leadership in stewarding us with this program, and the entire Henrico County Board of Supervisors for their vision and taking a lead in affordable housing. Having a stable, healthy, and affordable place to call home is a priority. It's a foundation for so many things: educational outcomes for students, economic development and prosperity for localities, and wealth accumulation for many generations to come. And thanks to Henrico County and their vision and their leadership, we will be able to create many opportunities for families who haven't had that and unlock the power of homeownership. So for 20 years, the Partnership for Housing Affordability has championed policies and programs and developments for affordable housing. We do that through collaboration, through data-driven tactics, and ensuring that we can bring together a diverse set of stakeholders to implement solutions across the Richmond region. Now, earlier this year, we adopted a regional housing policy agenda, and that outlined priorities for our region to address this issue, both the public and private sectors, collaboratively. And 3 of those agenda items were to increase local investments in housing, to strategically deploy land for affordability, and to adopt incentives for development. And today's historic announcement by Henrico County does all 3 of those in a significant manner. I want to put in perspective just the scale and how unique this program is. So this $60 million investment is about 4/5 or 80% of the Housing Trust Fund for the entire state of Virginia, which currently sits at about $75 million. And I will reiterate, as Chairman Nelson and County Manager Vithoulkas did, this is 100% grants, not debt. 80% of the state's trust fund is loans, and 20% is grants. So this is significant across the state, and Henrico is really leading the way there. We also took a look at housing trust funds across the country, and there are about 750 housing funds in the country, 72 of which are county housing trust funds. And this one is the only one that we could find that is using data center revenue as the sole dedicated source. So this is unique, not just here in the state, not just in regions across the country, but the entire United States. So thank you to Henrico County for their leadership in that regard. So per Chairman Nelson's remarks, Partnership for Housing Affordability will be working with the county and the development community over the coming months to get this program up and running. We will be the primary administrator of this program, so we're going to be helping to determine the criteria, how this program will work, who it will serve, and how we can generate the greatest impact to serve as many residents as possible. So this is kind of our welcome to the development community, both for-profit and nonprofit, to collaborate with us, identify opportunities for development within the county, and how we can leverage this funding to maximize and have the most impact. Now, lastly, just one last thank you to Henrico County's leadership and this one-of-a-kind investment, and we look forward to getting starting to work on this in the next few months. Thank you.
Thank you, Jovan. The manager asked me to reemphasize that this program will be effective July 1. So if you have an interest, please keep an eye out for information in the coming weeks. And thank you all for coming. Have a great day.